one, I cannot be the two. Why you on a perimeter, can't even shoot? Oh, you got a whack at jump. We gon' make it rain, no thunder. I ain't tryna sit on the phone, tryna.
All right, man. What a week of football we just had. Welcome to another episode of Stone Shows You Studs and Duds, presents Studs and Duds, tells you Studs and Duds, whatever you want to call it. Welcome back to another episode, man. I'm excited to get to it. This week was a wild week. So many terrible performances, but of course, we have to start positive. We're a positive atmosphere program here. Let's get it done. Studs, Kirk Cousins. Listen, I could have easily put Dak Prescott on here. He, was phenomenal in that comeback against the Eagles. But I chose Kirk Cousins instead just because Kirk did say he wanted an opportunity to start, and he did start. Now, was he perfect? No. I can read you his stat line. He was, in fact, 16 for 23, 199 yards, basically 70% round up to 70% completion percentage, two touchdowns, one pick. Was he fantastic? No. Is he an older quarterback? Maybe getting back from injury still? Yes. Did a lot of people think he was going to be a trade piece to a team that was close? Quarterback injury? Yes. But look at him, still on the Falcons. It turns out Michael Penix and his long list of injury history, reared its ugly hand again. And I'm not happy about that. You guys know that I wasn't big on Michael Penix anyways, but never happy to see somebody get injured. But Kirk Cousins got his opportunity to start. He started. I know a place that would be happy to have him right now, but we'll get to that later. Moving forward, Mike Kafka. Listen, Mike, interim head coach of the Giants. If you're not paying attention, you probably don't know. Mike took over for Sean. I mean, look, I can't wait to start talking about Brian Daboll. He took over for him, and he made the decision that Brian Daboll never had the balls to. So I respect you, Mike. He fired Sean Bowen. And let me tell you what Sean Bowen has done this year, because it's grand. Listen, I came into the year with high hopes, specifically for our defense. Did I know about what Jackson Dart was going to be, or how great he was going to be? I knew that we had Russ, we had Jameis Winston, and then we turned around and signed Jackson Dart. One of them had to be good, right? I expected one of them to be good. Turns out 2 out of 3 were pretty good, but we'll get into that in a second. Giants fire defensive head coach Mike Kafka. Says it was my decision, solely my decision. And yes, I understand before the game, he came out and said, we had full support or full belief in his staff. But after they did what they did to the Lions, offensively at least, for most of that game, and defensively too, that's the thing. We played great through 3 quarters of football, especially on the defensive side. The offense comes and goes. Hey, we don't have a lot of horses on there, but when your defense handles a team like the Lions, a team like, okay, let's not get into the past couple weeks. Well, we are going to get into the past couple weeks, actually. But I want to read the stat here. So not only are we allowing the most rush yards in the league, the most. Mind you, Shane, I keep calling him Sean, Shane Bowen came from the Titans, and the Titans allowed the least amount of points. But, of course, there's a kicker. The head coach was a defensive head coach, Mike Vrabel. Mike doing what he's doing in New England. Shout out to him. Coach of the year, maybe. My prediction. Anyways, so Shane really just rode his coattails like so many other great offensive coaches have offensive, how do I want to put this? You're a head coach, you're really good at what you do, and then you have somebody on the same side of your ball as your assistant, and then they get hired, but then they turn out not to be that good. That's what happened here. Essentially, the Giants kept giving up leads. Obviously, the Denver thing probably ruined our season, but it was time after time. We're 2-5 in games which we had a double-digit lead. It's double digits. Again, could the offense be better at the end of these games? Absolutely. Am I blaming the offense when we're on our 3rd starting quarterback of the season? Now, Jameis Winston is Jameis Winston, and we'll get to him later. But I respect you, Mike. You're a stud. Let's move on. DeMeco Ryans, I respect you even more, because what you're doing with less on offense than even Mike is doing is phenomenal. Your starting quarterback is out, and even when he was in, he wasn't playing that well anyways. But you are a defensive side. You are a defensive coach, so I'm not mad at you that CJ Stroud has regressed I don't necessarily think that's your fault. Your bread and butter is the defense. You are the head coach of the whole team, so I do expect you to fix that offensive line. But for this week, you are a stud for what you did to Josh Allen. 8 sacks, 2 takeaways, 15 QB pressures. And listen, on a quarterback like Josh Allen that can use his legs, that's extremely impressive. 8 sacks is extremely impressive. With the arm he has, with the legs he has, okay, not the greatest, weapons on the outside, but the tight ends that he has, James Cook is in the backfield. So the fact that you did that to him, and in the last play of the game, just exemplified everything that you've been doing all game. He was under so much pressure that he missed a wide open tight end on the baseline on the sideline, probably for a touchdown. He missed it because of the pressure that you were putting on him all game. Davis Mills, it's Davis Mills. Like he's the backup quarterback, regardless of his neck girth. He's a backup quarterback, but you're out here beating future, former MVPs, well, current MVPs, I guess you could say, and Josh Allen. So that's impressive. That's very impressive, D'Amico. And who knows? You might be the team making a push in the AFC. We'll see. Justin Jefferson, number 2 on this stud of the week list. Listen, it has nothing to do with what Justin Jefferson has been doing on the field because, quite frankly, it hasn't been much. Did you guys know that Justin Jefferson hasn't had 100 yards since the beginning of October? October 5th against the Browns, a great defense, by the way, was the last time he had over 100 yards. And it was the game before that when he versus Pittsburgh and, did what he did to Pittsburgh. But those are only 2 showings of 100 plus yards this season. His league ranks 60th 60 receptions, so tied for 12th. He's 8th in yards, 81st in touchdowns, tied for 81st in touchdowns with 2, and averaging 13.3 yards. Okay, the average really doesn't matter in the league that much. But the fact that he's been saying everything right when he gets in front of a microphone, every interview, whether it be pregame, postgame, in the locker room, everything that Justin Jefferson has done, not only this year, but looking back in his career, obviously he's had some great years with some less than great quarterbacks. We're talking Kirk, we're talking Sam, and now we're talking JJ McCarthy. This is the worst of them all, obviously. This is the worst of them all. He's been making it work with a lot of bad quarterbacks. Not bad quarterbacks, I don't want to say that. Less than great quarterbacks. When, Jamar has Joe Burrow, even Amon-Ra St. Brown has Jared Goff. JSN actually has his old quarterback that his team felt like moving on from, and you see what they're doing. The Colts offense was leading the league in points. I understand that the wide receivers weren't going crazy, but Daniel Jones was at the helm of the offense that had the most points in the league. So you just see quarterbacks that you used to have, or quarterbacks that other great wide receiver has. Puka Nacua has Matthew Stafford, so on and so forth. Just these great wide receivers or these great schemes for these certain quarterbacks. And JJ Jettas, well, I was really going to talk about JJ McCarthy, but Jettas has been great, as a teammate, and I respect him for that. So I hope he gets better play out of his quarterback. I doubt he will. Again, that quarterback, I keep thinking about Penix versus JJ McCarthy for the CFB championship. But anyways, that didn't turn out to be anything. Justin Jefferson is probably the best wide receiver in the league. I prefer him over Jamar Jefferson personally. I think he runs better routes. Jamar might be stronger, but I think they're both excellent after the catch, obviously. But anyways, top 2, top 3 wide receiver in the league. Hasn't had the opportunity to show it this year. Head coach probably fired. Starting quarterback probably going to be a journeyman for the rest of his life. And there you are, just the best wide receiver in the league, and you have nothing to show for it. But you're a great teammate. Moving on. My guy, Jameis Winston. Listen, as a Giants fan, again, we have 2 Giants on here. I'm sorry. I think we had a great week, even though we lost. And that's the point. Jameis Winston, this is what we expect from you. I'm telling you, did he have a great game? No, he didn't have a great game. But the fact that he did have that play, the play that probably would go down as the best play of the year, when it's time to give out these awards, play of the year, Jameis Winston. It doesn't sound crazy. We know Jameis Winston is a heck of a throw over the football, but this play was actually him catching the ball. If you didn't get to see the play, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you've found my video on YouTube, but you haven't seen Jameis Winston run a trick play, right? It's not like he lined up right. He ran a trick play. He caught the ball from Gunnar Olszewski. There's a linebacker out there guarding him. He works back to the football, catches the football, stiff arms the linebacker, keeps his balance, and scores a touchdown. Simply the best play all year. I'm sorry, this is the greatest quarterback catch of all time. I don't care about the Philly special. Congrats, you got your Super Bowl. Jameis Winston play was better. The athletic ability that it took not only to catch the ball, make the defender miss, and then score the touchdown. Jameis Winston, man. Again, he was 50% completion percentage. We ended up losing the game in overtime, but absolutely not his fault. And again, this is why Giants fans that I know, wanted him to start over Russell Wilson. I'd rather, if we sign him and Russ, just play Russ. I mean, play Jameis. Why do we need Russ? Our expectations with Jameis are our weapons are going to explode. We may not win games. He might throw 50 picks. He might throw 50 touchdowns. Who knows? Obviously, it was 30, but you know what I'm saying. He's just explosive. He's a hell of a guy in the locker room, in the interviews. We just love everything about Jameis. We want Jameis to stay with us. Obviously, we're sad about Jackson Dart, but give us Jameis Winston. He's having a great time out there. We'd love to see him play football, and that's why he's the number one stud of this week. Now, moving on. I don't like to be mean. I really don't. But the Raiders deserve it. The Raiders truly deserve it. Because I understand last week was a primetime game. This week was kind of like a primetime game. I'm sorry. I bet you more people watched Raiders versus Browns than they did most of any other Raiders games. Like, I understand you guys beat the Patriots in the beginning of the year, but no one cares about that. Now we're looking at how bad you've been. And just because you guys did play Shedeur Sanders and he was the, you know what I'm saying, the name of the game, even though what we're actually going to talk about is how bad your O-line is and how great Myles Garrett was because of you. He only had 3 sacks. I know he had like 5 against the Patriots. Doesn't matter. They got 10 sacks against you. Shedeur Sanders completed 11 passes the entire game. The entire game, Shedeur Sanders completed 11 passes, and you guys gave up 11 sacks. I don't know who's... Again, this is the second week in a row you guys are on this list. Because you guys are so bad. You guys are missing on the offensive line. Just... I can't even fathom what to say. It's just so bad. Ashton Jeanty doesn't have a chance. People that hate Ashton Jeanty are still looking at your O-line like, dang, they're not even giving my boy a chance. They didn't expect him. A lot of people didn't expect him, to go crazy like he did in college. He was playing lesser competition, yada, yada, yada. But him being this bad is completely your guys' fault. There's nothing he can do right when he gets the ball. 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. There's not one, but 2 defenders on him. He can make one miss. He makes one miss consistently. And not only that, O-line, don't even want to bag on the O-line all the way. Your blocking in general is terrible. You know what you try to do when your O-line is terrible? Run some screens. Whether it be a wide receiver screen, get to the outside, get quick. Nothing's working. Nothing is working. I get why people are getting fired all around. I get why. Because you guys are terrible. Awful. Really, really bad. Moving forward. Nick Sirianni. I know you guys already saw it. Nick Sirianni. You're on this list because you let the Cowboys beat you. And I'm not saying the Cowboys are a bad team, but you let the Cowboys beat you coming back from 21 points. Where was your offense in the second half? I'm confused. Is Saquon Barkley not Saquon Barkley? Like, I understand he's having a down year, but give him the ball. He needs more carries. Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, I'm glad they got it together. Maybe for you, Nick. But people are saying fire Kevin Patullo, bring somebody in. So, Kevin Patullo's offense. Nick Sirianni is an offensive coach. It's not like he's, Mike Tomlin. Hey, I don't know what's going on with that. No, you are literally an offensive coach. Why is everyone blaming Kevin Patullo when you're an offensive guy? I understand that you're not allowed to hire your offensive coordinators. I guess, Howie Roseman doesn't think you're good enough. But you are the head coach. you're not controlling this AJ Brown situation. It's getting to Jalen Hurts, not on the field necessarily, but he's hearing things and he has to respond to them in interviews. And again, AJ Brown's just going and going and going. And congrats, AJ Brown had a big game. I'm sure he's going to be quiet this week, maybe. But if it's not one thing, it's another. Nick, defending Super Bowl champion, do something about it. And Philly's not somewhere you can be. Just be, oh yeah, I won a Super Bowl. I'm gonna stick around. No, it's not. Ask your man Dougie P. It's gonna get treacherous out here, man. If you don't fix it, I don't really want you to fix it personally. Trade all your good players and get fired for all I care, but you're definitely a dud. Moving forward, CeeDee Lamb. Listen, the number 88 for the Dallas Cowboys is huge. Just great after great. I know we all talk about Mike Irvin, but there's great after great. Dallas Cowboys fans really, really think you're the top-notch player on their team when you wear number 88. And CeeDee Lamb, you have not been this year. I highlighted George Pickens last week on my studs list, but this week we're talking about you being a dud. Not only because your body of work this season is less than subpar, but because you're not the best wide receiver on your team. At least not this year. Again, injury, I know you missed a couple games, yada, 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 so the numbers might be lopsided. But when you're dropping balls against your division rival consistently, when you have 2 games against the Eagles, one in the beginning of the year and one here, okay, you guys won this one, but you guys could have swept them if you weren't dropping balls in the first game. But even in this game, more drops. You have 7 drops between these 2 games. CeeDee, that's not good. I need you to be better. Thought I had your stats pulled up, but George Pickens is blowing you out the water. We know this. We know this very much so. And it's some people, hey, it's just memes, it's just Twitter. But some people are stating that when they need to that not only do they need to re-sign George Pickens next year because we're not too sure about you, but that the number 88 might be in jeopardy. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm saying it, but people are saying it. Some people are saying they need to take the 88 off CeeDee Lamb, and give it to George Pickens. Do I agree with that? No, I think you're a better teammate, role model, citizen, stuff like that. And I'm not saying George Pickens is bad. I know, some stuff in college or early years and, the Steelers wide receiver. Maybe there's just something about that uniform. Maybe we need to talk about that. But that's just what the people are saying. Are they going to do it? Obviously not. But George Pickens, he's the engine of that offense. Obviously Dak Prescott, but Dak Prescott and Javonte Williams have been the big 3, not you. Jake Ferguson has probably had a better year than you, but I believe in you. You'll do better. But you are dead this week, even if they won. Moving forward, we have Bryce Young. Listen, that game, I'm recording this on Monday night. The Niners not. Brock Purdy just threw 3 picks in the first half. Basically, in the first half against the Carolina Panthers, and they scored 9 points. The entire game, Bryce Young was managed to score 9 points. Again, San Francisco defense is nice, but throughout the game, we saw the stands. Nick Bosa is not on that field. Fred Warner is not on that field. Hufanga is not on that field. Drake Greenlaw is not on that field. Yes, they're still coached by Robert Saleh, and I love some Robert Saleh. I think he can really coach up that defense. But Bryce Young, this is not just a tonight thing. This is a career thing. This is why I have you in your draft photo. Did you know that? Let me just read some stats to you. This is the season for Bryce Young. Mind you, I think this is his 3rd season. Completion percentage, 51%, 152 yards. 63%, 328 yards. Good job. 66%, 121 yards. 150 yards, 60%. Basically, 198 yards, 63%. 199 yards, 68%. 138 yards, 60%. 102 yards, 55%. 124 yards, 68%. 448 yards. And listen, I got killed for this. People were saying all kinds of things because I said that Tet was the reason. Well, because I put Tet on the list and not Bryce Young. Because Bryce Young, oh my God, look, 448 yards. Not only was it against the Falcons, a divisional rival, which is impressive, and people think the Falcons defense is good. Um, but when he's not playing the Falcons, he's not good. I'm sorry. 448 yards, by far career best. Not only that, let me see right here. I have it right here. 68.9%. Highest of the season. Obviously, if you're throwing that many yards. But this game, 169 yards, 62%. Don't get me started about the QBRs. 19, 41, 72, 42, 38, 56, 59, 46, 13, 76. And the one from tonight hasn't dropped. Listen, when you're not cracking quarterback rate QBRs over 80, I don't know what to do with you. And again, did they make the wrong choice? Who knows? Undersized guy playing for Alabama. It worked for Nick Saban. Maybe it'll work for me. I think it's time to move on. I honestly, while watching the game, I was looking up Anthony Richardson numbers to compare the two because they came out the same draft. Anthony Richardson was way worse, but still, that doesn't destroy my point that Bryce Young hasn't been good, wasn't good tonight. Brock Purdy should have been on this list, but the fact that he got the W and Bryce Young was able to do nothing, it was it was depressing. Again, they show Tet, they show Horn Jr., they show Leggett, and again, they're not perfect players on the outside. They're not a perfect team, but their defense, J.C. Horn, these other corners. I know they got rid of Brian Burns a while ago, but their defense is good, solid. Rico Dowdle is having the year of his career, and Bryce Young just you know not enough in my opinion. Last but not least, we have the Colts. Listen, I don't need any stats. You lost the Chiefs in overtime. Not a terrible loss on paper. When we're talking about legendary, when we're talking about heartfelt, and where we're talking about season lasting, I hope this doesn't ruin your season. I'm rooting for you guys. I want y'all to do well. Um, but when we talk about you finishing off a dynasty, and that's what we're talking about. You didn't just lose the game, you missed your opportunity to finish a dynasty. And again, missing the playoffs 1 year might not kill the dynasty, but that's not the point. You could have been the first nail in the coffin, the first, not the last, but the first. Because losing this game to you guys probably would have kept the Chiefs outside the playoffs. And you guys had them. You guys had them down. You were up by 11. They got the game into overtime, and Daniel Jones 3 for 9 in the second half, 66 yards or something like. It was bad. Combined yards, but Daniel Jones had his chance to prove to the world that he's not a pumpkin. That he's towards Sam Darnold, not I don't know any other quarterback that you can name that was bad for a long time, good for a little bit, then turned back into being bad. He had a chance and he missed. Shane Bowen had a chance and he missed. And it's not just a loss for the Indianapolis Colts. It's a loss for the entire AFC playoff picture. The Chiefs don't look like the best team. I agree. They don't look like the scariest team. I agree. But I guarantee you, if you were to poll all AFC playoff teams, would you rather have the Chiefs in the playoffs or out the playoffs? They'd clearly say out. The Patriots, the Colts, the Chargers. I mean, Chargers not the Broncos, the Bills, the Ravens, the Steelers. Whoever gets in, whoever the Texans. I promise you, they rather have the Chiefs out than in, and the Colts missed their shot to put a nail in their coffin. Not the nail, not the last nail, but a nail. Um, you just missed your shot. That doesn't mean you're not a great team. That doesn't mean you can't get the onesie. That doesn't mean this. You just missed your chance to be the ones to beat the Giants. And I don't mean the New York Giants. I mean the Giants of the conference. Anyways, that's this week's studs and duds. Let me know what you think. Who's your favorite stud of the week? Who's your favorite dud of the week? Didn't want to do too much hating, but I usually go a little bit longer on duds than I do studs. Anyways, get with me on Twitter. I'm live tweeting through all the games that I'm watching. Get with me on TikTok. I'm every play that you think could have went this way or the other way. Every big game, every starting performance. Shador, obviously, talked about Shador. Finna talk about Shador in detail on YouTube as well. But get with me on all platforms. And yeah, till then.
Thanks for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. If you don't agree with any of my takes, we can argue about it. Get on the podcast, get in the comments, whatever you want to do. You can subscribe to my channel right here. In this other corner, you should get with my TikTok and my Twitter. And in this corner right here, you can watch any more reaction videos, vlogs, or watch any more takes. Till then, see y'all. God bless.